Hey everyone, how's it going? Wow. Welcome to another live stream. This time I'm super excited and I must admit quite nervous to be welcoming one of my dear friends. We've got a guest, a very special guest on with us today. It's a dear friend of mine. He also happens to be the concertmaster of one of the most important and best orchestras in the world. Please give a warm welcome to my friend, Noah Bendix-Balgley. Hey, Noah, how's it going? Wait, is this your like very first live stream in general? Yeah, wow. Okay, amazing. That's what an incredible honor. That's oh, thank you so much. You want to say hi to the chat? Everyone's typing. So yeah, we've got a lot of people. Hi from Malaysia. Hi. We've got quite a few people here today, which is really cool. Uh, I'm just really scared that I'm gonna suddenly accidentally mute or mute myself because I've definitely done that before, and it's and people are trying to say that I'm muted. Wait, they can't hear you? Oh. All right. First boomer move already. There we go. Try and say something now.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, I think
There we go.
there we go. There, that's working now. Oh my goodness. There.
Good start.
I'm so sorry, Noah. Thank you for willing to be the guinea pig for this first series. Oh my gosh.
There has to
Okay.
be a first, right?
Yeah. That's true. Okay. Sorry, guys. That that was actually on my end. I muted Noah, but no, not through Zoom. I accidentally muted you. I like didn't have you routed through the audio. So do you want to just say hi again and just introduce yourself?
Yeah, sounds good. Well, first of all, hi, Ray,
I know.
and greetings from Berlin.
All right. Greetings.
And hi to everybody on YouTube and who send in questions on Discord and Reddit. We're looking forward to chatting a bit
Awesome.
about
Awesome.
violin and seeing our videos. And I hope
Definitely.
everybody's doing well in their isolation and quarantine and keeping their spirits up.
Yeah. That's have you been keeping your spirits up, by the way? Like what have you been up to?
Good.
Yeah?
It's getting nice weather here in Berlin, so we go for little walks and just mostly hanging with my family.
Okay. You're a new
A little bit
father,
of violin playing.
right?
I am. I have a little boy, 10 months old, so
Oh
the
wow.
days just fly by.
Amazing. So this is actually kind of nice for you to spend some time with your family, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, normally I would have been last month in China and Hong Kong and Baden-Baden. I think now I was supposed to be in the US, and we were supposed to be together next month at the menuing competition,
Oh, yeah,
which
that's right. You and
unfortunately
I.
got,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
we were supposed to be in Richmond, Virginia. I guess that's it's going to be delayed till hopefully next year if you can make
yeah.
it. We'll see.
I'm gonna try.
That sounds good. That sounds good. So anyway, we are guys. We're going to be looking at a couple of videos together. Just some of you have submitted videos, and we're really looking forward to having a look at them and just kind of giving some tips. I mean, Noah here has a lot more experience than I, for example, in a lot of things. So I think it'll just be really interesting to hear a different perspective as well. So thanks so much, Noah. So we'll just get right into it. All right. So the first person that we have is Quincy. And Quincy is 16 years old. I believe he's going to. I believe actually you guys have a common sort of that Quincy's teacher was at the time your teaching assistant, the teaching assistant of Professor Fuchs. Was that right?
Exactly, yeah,
Okay, awesome, awesome.
in Bloomington.
In Bloomington, Indiana. That's awesome. Well, let's. I think Quincy is going to be playing Ysaye's Sonata Number 3, the Ballade. So yeah, we'll just go ahead. Wow. I don't know about you,
Pretty
but
good.
that was amazing.
Really good.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever played a note of Ysaye when I was 16 years old.
16 years old, and he's playing like amazingly. Well, do you want to say something, Noah? Because I don't know what to say.
I mean, I think it's really fantastic. It's already really, really good. I think the only thing I would think about is that first section of the piece, which is all he marks, I think, recitativo. It's very, very free. Um, but I think you still want to try to have a big idea. And, as it goes up, it always gets more intense and loud. And then it kind of reacts in this lost way, that, the second line of the piece. So I think if Quincy could try to always drive to that top. Also, sometimes with maybe more tempo, and sometimes it's like crescendo plus accelerando. That makes it really exciting. So that the contrast when you drop out is really, really kind of shocking, actually.
I see. So is that basically like kind of like more phrasing towards those like in the introduction part before the da 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 da? Is that sort
Yeah,
of?
like I mean, exactly. Like in the very first line, I'm looking at the music here. You really drive to that top A and C sharp, and so that when the next line comes, that it's shocking, that rest. And the same thing, like in the third line, it drives to this ridiculous sixth note chord, which is not really possible on the violin.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to maybe lost you for a sec. Um, and then, so there's this huge contrast between the really forte stuff and then the searching character.
Awesome.
And then I don't know about you. I mean, I think that next section that comes, the molto moderato, you can try to go for a very pastel kind of French sound, not too real,
Mm-hmm.
because that comes later when we get the yadam badam.
Trying to see if we can
That's
actually
you know,
get the music on stage here. I mean,
yeah.
on the stream here. That would be nice. Let's. I'm just gonna. This is all very. I just suddenly thought of this now, and I'm like, oh, regretting I didn't set this up earlier. But so you were saying before the da 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 da, right?
Yeah, the section before that, this is like halfway down the first page. I've got the analog version here.
Okay, yeah. That's good. That's good.
You know, this
Yeah.
5/4 here.
Right. Oh, the da 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 da.
I think that, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think that should be maybe more fingerboard flautando.
Mm-hmm.
It's not yet a real rich sound.
Okay.
That comes as you make the drive to the next page, to this famous melody here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is such a tough piece. I mean, how old were you when you first learned this?
This is a good question. I think the first Ysaye I learned was number 2,
Oh, is that the
and
Bach
I
one?
probably was 8. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
17 or 18 when I did that.
Okay.
And this one would have been a year or two later.
Okay.
And actually, I never really played this one that much.
Oh,
I
really?
played 2 sixths, which we did at the Brussels competition.
That's right. That's right. Do you want to tell them
And
how we met actually?
yeah, we met in 2009,
Okay.
and that was at the Queen Elizabeth competition. We were stuck in Brussels for like weeks.
And we had our own isolation as well, right?
Yeah, I guess it was good training for now.
Yeah, so basically part of the competition is that we are, I mean, after you get to the final round, there's a week where they put you in this, they call it the chapelle, right?
Yeah,
This is this isolation place where you each have your own room, and you have to learn for a full week. You have to learn this modern piece that no one's ever seen, is written especially for the competition, and also practice your own concerto. So I did Tchaikovsky. What did you do, Noah?
I did Brahms concerto,
Okay,
and we
Brahms.
also had to play a sonata too. I don't think they have that anymore. I think you played Frank sonata,
I did
right?
Frank Sonata. Yeah. What did you
Yeah,
do?
Debussy.
Oh, oh, nice.
Because I thought Brahms is already too long, so I should take a short.
Yeah. That's good. So then we had to go ahead and like learn this new piece, but everyone was actually really friendly. I remember like how we became friends, and we were like sort of comparing notes, especially on the new piece as well. That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's cool because I guess there were 12 of us in the finals, and they're colleagues and friends to this day, and everybody went on to have really interesting careers.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's so we kind of our
So
paths started at this competition, but then slowly we sort of like went into our individual things, right? Yeah, that's pretty
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
So,
Well, all right. Well, so thank you, Quincy. And I guess while you want to entertain the audience while I get the next video ready, because I'm still, this is, yeah.
let me. I'll tell a funny story from the Brussels competition.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I'm not
Yes.
sure if Ray even remembers this.
Oh,
So
no. Is
for
this
this
embarrassing?
final, two of us played every night. No, it's not embarrassing. Um, and when you come into the chapelle, it's 1 week before you play. So you have exactly 1 week to prepare, and you get the score to this absolutely impossible modern piece. So Ray was playing on the last night. He came in last. The rest of us already been there like 4 or 5 days. And we thought we would try to fool him and say that we were all going to play this piece by memory, that we had it completely down. There's no problem. We're going to do it all by memory. And I think we told you and the other guy, Nikita, that. And I think you looked at the piece. You're like, no, you're not. You're playing with it. You didn't buy it for a second.
That's that's true. It was such a difficult
It was
modern
so
piece.
difficult.
I'm pretty sure I recomposed the piece because I remember that the composer Enhua Cho. It was called Argons, right? The I still have the
Yeah.
score with me. I remember she coming up to me and saying, seems like you had a few, compositional moments yourself."
Oh, really?
Like but no one knew. Yeah, because it was
Did you
never heard
respond with,
before.
oh, you mean improvements or?
Yeah. I was like, oh, this part kind of sounds like a tango. I'm just gonna play it, just change the rhythm up a little bit. Anyway, I've got the next stream ready. So
Let's
actually,
go, yeah.
speaking of Ysaye, this is and not having played this one. This is I don't know if you're familiar with this one, but someone submitted a video, which is Ysaye Sonata number 1. Now, I think it's pretty cool because I personally don't really know this piece. What about you, Noah?
I never played it. I mean, I've heard it before, and I think it's one of the more challenging ones actually. But I
Right.
personally never played number one.
Right. Well,
So let's see.
so here we have, yes, this is Zoe. She's 15 years old, and yeah, she's going to be playing. We'll just hear some of the first movement of Ysaye Sonata number 1. Wow. That was again pretty.
That's fantastic.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, I was, thinking as I was listening to that, there's so many notes and so many huge um, triple and quadruple stops. It sort of sounds like the two violin sonata that we play together.
Yeah,
'Cause
actually, so the Ysaye duo,
yeah,
yeah, sonata for two violins. I mean, just to let everyone take a quick look at the sheet music. This is what it looks like. It's just filled with
yeah.
all these ridiculous notes. So yeah, that's yeah. Well, and there was
I don't know.
that
Do you have
sixth
a
like
comment to start
chromatic
off with?
passage. Do you want to say
Yeah,
something
that was
about
really
it?
good. I mean, it's really fantastic. I was thinking at the end that this Ponticello section,
Hmm.
which is really, really eerie and scary, at least from what I hear, I think it could almost be further away, like from another room or outside of the house or something. It's like a wind that you hear.
Hmm.
So you have the color of the Ponticello, but not allowed at all. And then those pizzicatos, which he does so well, the left hand will be a little bit more surprising. It will have a little more character. Because the whole end, I'm looking at the music here, the last three lines is all pianissimo going even down to pianissimo.
Right, right, right.
Um,
So
so, I mean, it was fantastic.
all right.
And then I think, the stuff at the beginning, he's obviously thinking a lot about Bach and being inspired by it. And so these lines of music, the main melody line is jumping from the middle voice to the top voice to the lower voice. And as much as you can make that counterpoint clear, that really brings out the writing. So sometimes that means if the bass note is the melody, I think you have to hold that first note on the bass maybe a little bit longer so that the ear recognizes that's where the main voice is. When it's especially difficult, of course, when it's in the middle voices. A bit like playing a Bach fugue in the solo sonatas.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, that's oh, yeah. Did I?
Hard stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right,
And
right,
now I
right.
know why I never played this one.
That's yeah, me too, me too. I just haven't approached this one ever. I mean,
I
like
mean, it's fantastic music. It's just really challenging.
it is, yeah. But it's definitely you can hear the language of Ysaye as the piece goes on. I think that's those chromatic sort of
Yeah.
passages are
And he
really
loves to do these like arpeggios, triple and and hide within it the melodic line.
mm.
On the second page there, this fun stuff there.
Oh yeah, yeah, da
Is
da 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 da.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that kind of
That's to
stuff.
me that sounds a lot like the first movement of the fourth sonata.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that definitely.
so,
That's cool. Well,
but that's great playing.
yeah.
Nice.
I mean, definitely. Thank you so much, Zoe, for introducing the two of us to this. Well, introducing me. I think Noah was already familiar with it, but at least introducing me to this wonderful piece. So that's really cool. Noah, you're on again. You've got a 30-second segment where you entertain the crowd. Go.
Okay.
He's just like,
What,
I
what,
didn't
what,
I
what should I
didn't
do this
sign up
time?
for this.
I should have been warned about this before.
I'm forcing the concertmaster of the Berlin Phil to do a stand-up comedy skit.
Well, maybe in the 30 seconds I have, I'll tell everybody about the quartet we have together.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep.
Which we came up with the idea in, I think, 2014 or 15. And then, like 3 years later, we played our first concert. But it's called Made in Berlin. And it's
Yeah, why
Ray,
is it called Made in
myself,
Berlin?
because I think at the time you were sort of living in Berlin.
That's true.
Um, and you continued to come through, and we seem to always meet and play together in Berlin.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Yeah, so it's the two of us, and then Amachai Gross, who's the solo principal viola of Berlin Phil,
Yep.
and the cellist Stefan Kontz,
Hmm.
who's in also in the Berlin Philharmonic and does a lot of arrangements and compositions. And of course, the first piece you heard at the beginning of the stream, the Waltzing Matilda, was his arrangement for the quartet.
Yeah, Stefan
Um,
is amazing. Yeah.
so we do a lot of fun stuff. I mean, we try to play traditional quartets usually on the second half of the program, and the first program half of the program is a mix of different things.
Right.
So Ray and I would like play the Ysaye duo, and we play a little string trio with the three Berlin Phil people, and then we play some of shorter quartet arrangements. So it's a kind of a nice mix of things.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you, Noah. And I've got the next one ready, so we're
very
good
good.
to go. All right. The next person is Jonathan Ran. And I didn't ask for his age, so but he's going to be playing the Barber violin concerto. So
Oh, nice.
first movement. So let's hear some of this.
Okay.
Yeah, there we
Nice.
go. There we
Good.
go. Yeah. Have you played this piece, Noah?
I've practiced it and learned it, but I never played this one with orchestra. Actually, I
Yeah,
would
me
love to.
neither. Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
really?
even
Okay.
practiced and learned it.
No, I mean, this should be a piece for you. Wasn't this written at Curtis?
That's
I
true.
think.
That's true. Yeah, I need to
Yeah,
have a little bit more school
Curtis
pride.
Pride, though.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I love this piece. I think it's absolutely gorgeous music, and that beginning is it's such a warm and kind of um, full sound, and it's a really beautiful way to start a concerto. I think with just the violins right there.
Right, yeah, just like immediate start, right? Like I mean,
Yeah,
not
no
many
waiting around.
concertos start like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the last movement is incredibly virtuosic and fast. But the first movement is full of these singing melodies and
Right, right,
very
right.
expressive. Sometimes a little bit dissonant intervals. There's major sevenths and things.
Right, right, right. And
Yeah.
do you like? I mean, I I don't know. Like to me, it sounds like I feel like if I were to give a comment, I think it was great, Jonathan. I think that maybe with the contrasts, I think this any kind of piece that has so much singing, you should think of like how an opera singer sings. Like they're always filled with expression, right? Even on their face and just like especially the colors. I think this piece is such a
Mm.
a good exploration into like what like sort of we always learn about dynamic, right? Dynamics first, and then we kind of go into, okay, the difference between just loud and soft, like loud and quiet versus like actual soft and strong, right? Forte isn't just loud, forte is strong. Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
something. Yeah.
I completely agree with you about the colors. And I think there are a couple ways you can go about working on it in a piece like this. For example, one could try playing this whole opening and practicing it with no vibrato and see if you can make all the colors in the bow, which means you have to have a whole palette playing, into the string close to the bridge or maybe closer to fingerboard with a lighter, faster bow and figuring out how you're going to make that transition just so that it has all the expression actually from the right hand first and then seeing what does the vibrato add to it. um, I think often we kind of put on vibrato as this beautiful heavy sauce onto everything, a gravy top of everything, and sometimes it can be used in a way that it's adding something really rich, and then but you need to have the contrast too. So I would suggest to find places where you can have maybe less or less wide and rich vibrato in contrast.
Wow. Yeah, that's some good advice. I agree. I definitely agree. It's like, what would you say, Noah, are like the ingredients to different color? I mean, so far we've got bow, definitely right hand, left hand vibrato. It's really a
It's
combination
a
of the
combination,
two,
yeah.
right? Like, or
I
and
mean, I
maybe the
think the thing
sounding
I
point.
learned over the years is I think as a violinist, first we have to hear it in our head, in our ear. It's like we have to dream of the color and then find a technical way to reach it. And that takes a while to kind of develop what kind of color do I want in this place, and to actually be able to like describe it. Is it a meatloaf or is it an ice cream? To really think creatively about it.
Right. So
Um,
so
and
do
then
you
we
think
find
about
the tools to do that.
right? Do you think about like it sounds like you think a lot about food when you're thinking thinking
I think I
about
generally
color.
think a lot about food.
A true musician. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, meanwhile, I'm just gonna quickly get the next one ready, but I won't put you through that again, Noah.
No,
So don't worry.
yeah, that's no problem. I'll just follow that thought a little bit. I mean, I think as violinists if we think we're like a painter, the paint brush is basically the bow and drawing the broad strokes, getting the main picture, and then we fill in the little details with the left hand vibrato. And it's important that we kind of do it in that order rather than putting this vibrato sauce on everything and letting that take care of it because that can lead to problems. It can muddy the waters a bit.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree. So, we said we would only have time for three videos, but then I found a fourth one, and it was just very short. It's about only 15 seconds long. And since we're in Barber's world already, I thought this would be really interesting. This is by Hannah White, and yeah, this is like the third movement of the Barber. Just I thought I had to show you this, so go. Yeah.
All right.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I thought that was like, I mean, that movement, not having learned it, it feels like that would be like such a difficult movement to put together with orchestra.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have played this in the orchestra part as concertmaster. I'm trying to think who was playing solo.
Oh, oh.
Um, but I remember the last movement is really hard to get together because kind of mechanical movements like this, it's the distance in the orchestra. If you have the winds playing fast notes and the solo violin, it's always a challenge. So I think the soloist has to be so locked in with the rhythm for this movement. But that sounds really fantastic, and I love the end of this piece where it just stops, and then there's that massive run to the high A. Just like,
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
it's,
That,
yeah.
that sounds like quite a tricky thing. I mean, do you have any advice? I mean, also not. I mean, I think people are asking that if you have any advice for the third movement, that you could give to us, that you could impart to us, because I could definitely use with that advice as well.
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, I would say practice a lot with metronome.
Okay, metronome is your friend.
And probably, if you're preparing to play it with an orchestra, be flexible to be able to play it at a couple of little different tempos.
Right. Okay.
Because, you might get in a situation where you realize two sticks slower is going to be really together. And if you get a little faster, it might not be so comfortable, but you have to have the bow stroke in both of those tempos to work, the kind of spiccato. So,
I see. Well, yeah, great advice. Well, thank you, Noah, and thank you to all of those who submitted videos. It was great to watch all of your videos. I'm sorry we didn't have time to get through all of your videos. There's only so much time. I don't want to keep Noah for too long, but Noah. I think it's only fair that now that we've, had you comment on everyone else's videos, that we take a look at one of your videos. I have
pressure's on.
I have a little something here. This is one of my favorite. This is my favorite video of you. I remember. I mean, you have a lot of videos out there, guys. Check out. You just YouTube Noah Bendix-Balgley. He's also on Digital Concert Hall of the Berlin Phil as well, which I believe are giving out a month free during
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time.
I
Yeah,
know.
and yeah, just check out his stuff, his Instagram. Everything's posted in the descriptions below. So yeah, go check out his stuff. But yeah, I remember watching this video. It's a video of you playing the Ein Heldenleben solo when you were concertmaster in Pittsburgh, and you guys went on tour to Berlin. I mean, it was a European tour, I believe,
Yeah, yeah.
Pittsburgh Symphony. So yeah, this is. I remember watching this and being like, "Geez, that is insane." So yeah, because I mean, when I was before I did Queen Elizabeth, I was practicing excerpts too. I had an excerpt book, which is back there. I still have it, where I just collected a bunch of different excerpts, right? So like that Schumann
Yeah,
excerpt,
yeah.
or like
It's
the
tricky.
Brahms, Brahms, sorry, the symphony, that da 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 da
Yeah.
da. Yeah, all the Shostakovich symphony solos. So, I was really getting into that. Of course, Don Juan and Ein Heldenleben were like the most difficult ones, right? So, when I watched you play this, I listened to you play this, it was like insane. But maybe you have some comments about what you would do. I want you to review this, with this with the strictest kind of sense.
Okay. Before I watch it or after?
After. Go
Okay.
ahead. And we can't obviously watch the whole thing, so
Yeah,
I've
yeah. We'll just
clipped
watch a
like,
bit of it.
like about 3 minutes of it. So here we go.
I look so young.
Amazing.
Video. That was, I think, 2013,
Wow,
a few
yeah,
years
that's
ago.
incredible. Yeah, I really like that video. That's how did
Yeah, I
it
remember I
feel?
was quite nervous for that because we were on tour and that one was broadcast, of course. And I remember the first solo when I came in, I was still like a little bit not so comfortable. And then as it went along, I got a little more comfortable and then
I mean,
um,
you sounded
enjoying it.
like you were completely in control. I mean, just
I'm
sounded
glad it
like
sounded that way.
yeah,
So,
and in control. And by in control, I don't mean like controlling every note. Like it was just so. It's just it is. I feel like that's you made that performance the standard of like the like well, not the standard, but I mean like the what we all aim to do when we hear that. I feel like anytime I hear Nine Held Leben, I inevitably compare to your performance.
well,
I know that's a
thanks.
bad thing.
I'm glad you consider it at that level. That's really nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So,
So what would you say to what would you say that you've changed? Let's say not say improved, but like changed in terms of your ideas, and how would you change this performance?
I mean, a lot of it I'm happy with. I think looking back at it, I look at a very, very well prepared and executed. The one thing I think maybe I would do a little more of now is be a little more spontaneous and risky with some of the timing or rubato kind of things. Because in the end, this is a piece that's describing, or sorry, actually, I should say part of the piece that's describing Strauss's wife. And that's the character that the solo violin is portraying. And his wife was a singer, and she was really a character. I mean, she would bounce from one mood to the other mood in the space of a half second.
Oop, we are having a little bit of a
It's he that sort of I don't know if you lost me for a sec.
sorry, we
Um,
said we had her mood would bounce you know
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, he even writes about this in a letter that one minute she'll be happy, and the next moment she's completely lost it, or
Ooh.
she's flirtatious, and then suddenly she's nostalgic. And so, in the violin solo, we have to portray those changes. And
So
maybe now I would be a little
the violin
more
represents the
extreme.
wife.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so at the end of the piece, of course, there's another solo where the violin is having this conversation with the solo horn, who's representing Strauss himself.
Hmm.
Strauss always portrayed himself as with the horn solos, because his father was a very, really well-known horn player in the Munich Opera.
Hmm.
So at the end of the piece, which is gorgeous, they sort of they've had this rocky relationship, which you see at the end of the excerpt that you just played. That thing where I'm repeating those high G flats and then go down with all the triple stops is sort of her losing it on her husband. She's like, she goes crazy.
Wow.
And then they try to patch things up. And at the end of the piece, there's this wonderful duet where they really come together.
Amazing. Wow. That's yeah. It's it just reminds me that music. It reminds us all like there's a lot of music out there that if we didn't know the history, the backstory to it, I mean, we'd be. I mean, think about this. You'd be missing like 90% of what the meaning is. So, guys, that's why you should always do your music history. And I mean, these days it's so easy just to hop on
Yeah.
Google and just like Google's program notes from a
And I
particular
think
performance, right?
if I have any advice for somebody preparing this solo, is have a German very nearby,
Sorry,
because
was that have a German?
it really
Oh, we're losing you a
have
little
a
bit.
German dictionary
Oh,
on
German.
hand.
Okay, German dictionary on hand.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Am I losing you?
A little bit, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. because he's so precise about what he wants.
I
You know,
see.
the details of the character.
I see. Or we either have a German dictionary on hand or we have a Noah on
Or,
hand.
yeah, or even better, a native German speaker.
Maybe next time if we have issues, problems with these sorts of German excerpts or any excerpts for that matter, we'll just invite you onto the stream and you can explain to us how what the true meaning is. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, okay, well, oh, whoops, wasn't ready to go there yet. I think we have time for, Noah. I had asked you what your favorite video on YouTube was, of any particular violinist. And you told me that, so your favorite violinist is
Well, I go through phases, but I find in the end I'm always somehow in an Oistrakh phase. So,
Oistrakh is a good choice.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
say so.
that's a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I would say Oistrakh it would be my choice too.
Mhm.
Yeah, for his favorite
Yeah.
violinist. Yeah. What makes you love Oistrakh so much over like the Oistrakh versus Heifetz camp?
I mean, there's some pieces I really prefer Heifetz, and they're so different. But for me, often when I listen to Oistrakh, I feel like it just sounds the way it should sound. It's sort of that's the way it should be. The sound, the way he phrases, the state, the presence on the stage. Um,
Mm,
it's just always strikes a chord with me.
right, right. Yeah. For me, I mean, it's like I feel like Oistrakh is more balanced than Heifetz, right? Heifetz kind
Mhm.
of you hear a lot of Heifetz and less of sometimes the
Yeah,
music.
perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sometimes that goes really well together, but then sometimes it's like you prefer to hear just a little bit more of Mozart or Bach, right?
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I mean, not that who are we to judge them, but I think that's I mean, preference is always a thing that everyone is allowed to have, I think. So anyway, we've got here a wonderful yeah, David Oistrakh video, and I believe this one is the Brahms Violin Sonata number 3 slow movement. So let's take a listen.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
I
Thanks for
mean,
sharing
you,
that.
just from the first sound he makes on that F sharp, it's
He's
so
so
noble and
yeah, he's so like it's almost like his upbeat doesn't translate into like, it's like so strong yet the sound is so silky.
everything has this wonderful cushion, no? And I
Yeah,
also love how physically there's like no tension. You can see his head is so relaxed, and
right.
yet the sound is so full and direct.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'm just amazed by is if you watch his bow really carefully, he's always changing the speed of it. It's not that he's having a long bow, always the same thing. He'll start with lots of fast bow and then at the end slow it down and make extra time on a note, like for example that high B there.
Right.
Um, it's so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's this old school, like, especially at the ends of like notes. The trail, that old school trail, like that goes like that, like adds a bit of that shimmer. Yeah, you see him doing that, and he also doesn't really use his fourth finger that much. I mean, just like I was like, did you notice that?
Oh,
Like for
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
some of those parts where I don't know, it's like here or something as he reaches up, that note, he's on a
there's a
third
third finger.
finger. Yeah, that's like,
Doesn't mean you shouldn't practice your fourth finger though.
do you, why do you think he's not using his fourth finger?
I mean, maybe he just felt he has more flexibility in the sound on the third.
Wow.
You know, and a place like that is also where he deals with timing. He always finds like a little extra in the bar to make a color change or bring out a harmony.
Hmm.
And I think for Brahms, that's so important. Like if you
Right.
play right in beat, it's fine. But the sense that you have a little extra room in each bar to sing out and phrase is what makes this have this big quality. It's kind
Yeah.
of generousness.
Yeah.
Generosity should be the right.
Yeah.
Just
We've
making up
forgotten
words
how
here.
to English after watching that performance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. This is, I mean, yeah, I had also, shared one of my favorite videos, which was also, I think, my favorite video of all time. Uh, is also an Oistrakh video, the Claire de Lune one. I don't know if you're
Uh-huh.
familiar with
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one is yeah.
And of course that's a completely different composer and style,
Mhm.
but still he's with the bow, he's creating such colors and expression. It's really, I guess, the same sort of violinistic concept. It's just used for a different style.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Noah, and thanks for sharing your thoughts. I think we have time for just a few questions here,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. All right, so we have starting from. I took like two questions from your Instagram. The first
Yeah.
question is by Maxine Kwok. Hi Noah, we'll tune in. Do you find it tricky juggling leading an orchestra, playing orchestral solos, and then being a soloist?
It keeps me busy. Well, first of all, let's say hi to Maxine, who's a wonderful first violinist in the London Symphony.
Yes, hi Maxine.
Um, Thanks for the question. For me, I mean, it's of course it's challenging to keep on top of all these different kind of repertoire. Every week, a different orchestra program. When I'm in Berlin playing with the orchestra, and then playing chamber music with colleagues in Berlin, with our Made in Berlin group, with other formations like my group Philharmonics, and then also having concertos with orchestra, sonatas. But for me, having all those different tracks keeps me nicely challenged and motivated. And I think the different ones inform each other. So the chamber music helps me be a better concertmaster, and the experience playing as concertmaster in the Berlin Phil helps me play my concertos when I go up to play Tchaikovsky or Mendelssohn.
Wow. So you could
play it better
almost.
because I know
Okay.
what's going on in the orchestra part and what I need to do.
Wow. Amazing. So I guess you could almost say it inspires you. They kind of like feed on each
Yeah,
other. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, the next question, I believe, we have some from the Discord, and the first question is, yeah, I guess like what are some of like what you said now? What are some of the differences, major differences, education wise, between a concertmaster and soloist?
It's a good question. I mean, you were mentioning that you also learned and practiced the concertmaster solos. Obviously, to get a concertmaster position, you need to be a fabulous violinist and be able to play the concertos really well, and the excerpts. I think a lot of it comes with experience. Um, the leadership part in the orchestra, knowing how to respond to different things happening in a performance, um, how to react when something doesn't quite happen as you think, and how to kind of get everything back together, right the ship. So I find when I'm being a concertmaster, I have to assume that the violin part is kind of going from alone. I'm not having to think too much about that, so that all of my antennas are elsewhere, seeing what the conductor's doing, what a principal flute is doing in their solo, where the basses come in, where their pits, all those things, so that I can react and bring the violin section with me and hopefully bring the whole ensemble together. I really feel like you have to have this hat on with a million antennas, um, so that you're constantly reacting, and it's a combination of reaction and also provoking everybody around you to go in a particular direction.
Oh, so yeah, you gotta like hype people up, right? Like when you're a
Yeah, and,
concertmaster.
and or calm them down if they need to be calmed down. Sometimes that happens in Berlin Phil.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Berlin Phil, having seen a couple of those digital concert hall performances, I mean, it's amazing. It's like I don't want to say, I know this, like it's kind of like you're all playing in together, but yet like as all solo parts. It's like all of you are soloists in that moment, and there's no
Yeah.
difference between. I mean, that whole question: what is the difference between a soloist versus a orchestral or concertmaster or whatever, in that moment? It just feels like it's just music. I don't know if that got through to you. We
I think so. Yeah, I mean, if you can hear me,
yes.
I think one of the things that's particular about Berlin Phil, as you described, is that we really look for people who have a real individual personality as players, and
Mm.
it might not be the same kind of direction or style always,
So
but
yeah.
the individual kind of musical need to say something is there, and then that mixes together in a really interesting way when we're all playing together. And then we try to find a concept from the conductor or from what we feel that we can all get behind. But I mean, if you notice in digital concert hall, we're not all playing the same fingerings,
Mm.
um, but all somehow the mixture is bringing a certain excitement and energy to the playing.
Amazing, amazing. Wow. So next question, if this will allow me to do the next question. No. Oh, there we go. Okay. Any tips on how to be a great concertmaster? I mean, you kind of just said all those things, hyping up, calming down, but I suppose maybe I can add on to top of this, like any tips on like how to get to that, prepare to become a great concertmaster. Like for those of us who might be just still studying and thinking about, hey, I would, what? I mean, is that even the case? Do you start by thinking, is that a viable path to be like, oh,
I think
we
so.
should we should we should prepare ourselves on becoming a concertmaster versus becoming an orchestral section or like a second violin leader? Is there any difference in sort of preparation mentally?
I mean, look here. I think in the studies time, in conservatory and probably a little past it when you're starting to start professional life, we should be preparing for everything. You know, it's tough out there, and we have to have all of our options. And as a result, I think we want to try to be as well versed in a big range of music. So not just your violin concertos, but string quartet, and symphonies and opera, and you know, if you're playing a Mozart violin concerto, know the Mozart operas. If you're playing Brahms concerto, look at his piano music and his string sextets, things like that. The more music you know, these you start to hear these connections and these references, and that really can affect your approach to it.
Right,
And of
right.
course, as a concertmaster, you have to really be looking at the big picture of an orchestral score. It's not enough to be able to play all the notes of that Helden labeled solo. You really need to know, you know, who's playing in the tutti before me. When I finish this little section, who plays after me? Where does the orchestra come in? Where there's a strict tempo? Where can they be flexible? Do I need to set up at this point the tempo for what comes after? All those kind of things um, need to be really secure. And I think that's something I learned by experience.
Mm.
For me personally, the experience that was most helpful when I first became a concertmaster in Pittsburgh was from playing first violin in a string quartet for a few years, which I think is like an
Oh.
orchestra in miniature. And my first years as a professional concertmaster, I would say I spent probably as much time listening to recordings and reading scores as practicing notes.
Wow.
Um, and you start, I mean, of course, over time you get more efficient with that. You know what to listen to, and how to prepare better.
Right, right, right.
But that comes with experience. And that's true whether you're playing in the second violin section or anywhere else in the orchestra. You just have to kind of get to know a certain repertoire. And after a certain amount of time, then you've played most of the Beethoven symphonies and the Mahler symphonies and the Strauss tone poems, and you start to really know them and feel like you have something personal to say in them, and you can offer something in ensemble.
Right, right. Wow. That's I think the string quartet idea is really good for that's something that most of us, I mean, during normal times, not during quarantine times perhaps, but during normal times in school that we can sort of, okay, if you really want to be going down that path and you want to prepare for it, I mean, a lot of it, as Noah said, is experience, but if you want to have that experience while you in school, and you know, you don't, not everyone gets the opportunity to be the concertmaster of the school orchestra, then you could find a similarity in a string quartet. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you know, one of the great things about string quartet playing is that you have to really have discussion, both musical and also verbal, with three other people, and everybody's exactly equal. And so you have to come up with ideas and defend them. You know, have a good reason why you want to do something this way, um, and then execute it in a convincing way in your playing.
Right, right, right.
And I think that, I don't know for you, for me, I feel like that sort of feedback from colleagues, from your peers, is the most important, and you get sort of the most out of that
Amazing.
when you're playing in that kind of group.
Great, great. Well, moving on to the next question. Hi, Noah. The Berlin Phil plays with many world-class soloists. I was wondering what attributes about a soloist can make it easier or harder for an orchestra to stay with them. Are there certain characteristics that separate the good players from the bad ones? Oh, I can benefit a lot from this question. Go on, Noah. Share, share.
Well, I think we're quite lucky in Berlin. The soloists we get are always amazing,
That's true.
and I'm often just blown away. I mean, I feel like often I have the luckiest seat in the house when, for example, you know, I'm sitting there and Barenboim is playing a Beethoven concerto right there, or Janine is playing
Yeah.
Tchaikovsky concerto right in front of me, and I can see every little thing she's doing. So I feel very lucky to experience that up close. And I think the soloists that are really successful have an incredibly personal and strong view of the piece, but also think of it as chamber music.
Mm.
They really know what's going on in the orchestra and are really playing with us. Um, looking over to the section they're playing with and responding if somebody plays it a little bit differently, a melody in the winds, then they respond, and that makes it really fun.
How much of it do you think? I mean, obviously, if we respond as a soloist, the ones that do respond when listening. I mean, listening is the most important. It doesn't matter how much you look around, but how much does visually looking around make you feel connected to the performer?
It's important, but I don't think it's the deciding factor. I mean,
But it is
I
important.
think
You would think we would say like
so,
a little
yeah, but
bit.
I don't know. Maybe I'm backtracking, but I think it's possible somebody could play with their eyes closed and still be showing a musical connection to the orchestra.
Right, right. And the
Um,
orchestra would feel that.
I think so.
Yeah.
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 Cool. Cool. Okay. Next question is, what advice do you give to young musicians applying to many orchestras but still get denied? So this process that I know a lot of I mean, back when I was first graduated, it's normal, right? For people to audition to multiple orchestras and not win your first seat, right? At your first audition.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that we should remember, and of course, these kind of things are not published and advertised, but
Mm-hmm.
people who have some of the best positions in orchestras in the world, that might have been their 10th or their 15th or their 20th audition,
Mm.
and they were rejected in all these other places before it worked out. So I think there are a couple of things to think about. One of it, one of those things is that it's a process for the audition
Oh,
that you learn how to present your best self at that in that situation.
you said, sorry, we lost you for a quick second just to retrace the steps. You said
Yeah, yeah.
at the audition you learned to present the best version of yourself. Is that right?
No, what I mean is over the course of different auditions,
Okay.
you learn what's the best way to prepare for yourself.
Mm.
The timing of the practicing, your warm up on the day of the audition itself, things like that come with some with experience. I mean, maybe you'll get lucky and hit the jackpot the first time,
Hmm.
but I think a lot of the times it's the process
Awesome. Awesome.
of experience.
Awesome. Okay.
And a lot
Cool.
of people have gone through many auditions before they get their position.
Hmm.
And the other thing to remember is that it kind of goes both ways. Of course, an orchestra is choosing somebody to join their ensemble, but they want somebody who would be a good fit for the ensemble, and that person would be happy in that situation and add to the group. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the best player always wins, because sometimes that might not be the right fit. So some people get frustrated that they didn't win a particular place, but in the end effect, maybe it wouldn't have been the right situation for them because they couldn't have been themselves in that musical environment, in that style, because different orchestras have different DNA, just like, individual players. So it's a lot to
Wow.
think about, and it can be very frustrating. I mean, there's so many applicants out there, and the competition is really, really, really hard. So
Right. 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 Okay. Well, we did have a few more questions, but I think that the internet is sort of getting in our way here.
it's
I'm
getting
feeling like
it.
it's like okay, guys, you have already been going for over an hour, so we might want to just just finish up real quick. But thank you so much for your time, and it's been great to have you and to be able to just like sort of ask you all these questions and that we have, and I learned a lot as well, being like just listening to you and just getting into your mindset of how you hear the music. I think that has been really cool for me personally. So I know that for our people out there watching, and this is going to stay up on YouTube, that it's going to be super helpful, especially the advice that you gave to not only the people who played, but also just answering those questions like about whether or not an orchestra is a good fit, not being necessarily the best player. I mean, that's like important, but also equally important is how you fit in with your colleagues, your future colleagues.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
that is something that has been really cool to learn about. And even if we had sort of feelings of where we felt like, oh, maybe that's the case, it's great to hear confirmation coming from a world-class musician such as yourself. So thank you, and thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's
Yeah, great to be here. And bravo for our violinist whose videos we watched. Really fantastic. So, wishing everybody the best in these days, and hope that the music is bringing everybody some joy and um, satisfaction in these hard times. So, keep playing.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. So say goodbye to Noah, and yeah, we'll see you next time on the next stream. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Wasn't that fun? I think that we all learned a lot from Noah, and yeah, I mean, for me, it was amazing to learn about all those things, especially the concertmaster stuff, which I honestly have no experience. So it was an honor for me, I think, for us all to have such a cool person like Noah come onto the stream. And wasn't he just so nice? Anyway, sorry, I'm like fangirling now. Anyway, I'll see you guys on the Discord. Bye.